Guys, welcome to the Giuliano Fellini channel. I am going to have to voice over this one because I recorded for you guys an episode that I was really happy with. However, when I went back to preview it and to edit it, the audio quality was super screwed up. Anyway, we find a mosquito, an ant, and a mosquito. I don't mind my chances on that one. Buffing up a 2/2 unit with an ant is pretty nice, and the mosquitoes obviously have a nice passive. We did get to freeze 2 ants, and this one actually turns out to be a very quick win in like 17 minutes as far as the video goes. We get an easy 10 win. So there's the spoiler, and let's just see how we did it. So we go get some guys with the golden poop hats. We take out their ants straight away. So we're gonna get pretty good value here. We trade, and then we take them out. We give a buff to mosquito that doesn't even have to fight. That's pretty good so far. We're gonna, of course, use our ants, and I think here I decide to combine the ants early. Normally I try to save for tier 3s, but a lot of times you get kind of shitty tier 3s, so I'm thinking, you know what? I may say, let's find a good tier 3 unit, and we do find a swan, which in my mind is like one of the best tier 2 units we could find. Dog is really good, but I didn't feel like going dog this turn. A lot of times when I do well, I embrace the units that I want to use, not just what they give me. But in this case, I am going to go with the ladybugs that they give me because ladybug I don't mind too much. I don't think ladybugs are very bad. So we're going to go ahead and see how we match up against these pirates on the lava background. It looks like okay, but not perfect because 4 HP is not much. 7 attack is a lot in the early game, but 4 HP, we are going to go down. HP is a little bit more important than attack in the early game because attack is sort of easier. Well, because you're not going to be able to leverage your attack without HP, right? This 5-3 guy is going to trade with a 3-3 guy. So what is that 5 doing? You know what I mean? It does work both ways, but it's hard to come by HP sort of in the early game. So we're organizing our units here. Usually our logic is that we want to put strong units up front, but obviously there are synergies we need to keep in mind. The only synergy or effect we need to have a good use of right now is the ant. Ant's going to guaranteed go on this guy with 4 HP. I like that. I wouldn't want him to go on somebody with 1 HP or 3 HP or something like that, right? We are going to keep the ladybug frozen because we want to get higher tier animals from leveling stuff up. Usually that's a good strategy. We are going to embrace that this time. Plus, if we ever get to buy food, the ladybug does get a temporary buff, which is pretty good. Not the worst thing. So we're going to head right into battle here, it looks like. And again, apologies for the voiceover, but I think you're going to like this one. I couldn't help that the audio was screwed up. Kind of spontaneously, even though I kept the mic in the same position. Maybe I changed the sound of my voice. I did move the mic since then. We'll see. You know, it should be fun. Anyway, boom. We're going to take these guys out. It was a good idea to get the ant buff on that guy in the back. It's a pretty beefy ant buff now. It's going to be at least, I think, what is it, 4 attack? Yeah, it is 4 attack and 2 HP. Here in this case, we're thinking, you know, do we want to use the dog? I think what I explained at this time is that I don't feel like using the dog, even though it would be fine. Tier 4 is not too bad to find the dog. Obviously, you prefer to find it on tier 3 if you're going to use it, or on tier 2 from combining. But look, I just don't like the dog too much. I've used him so many times to good effect, and he's pretty great. But, you know, I didn't feel like using him, and it doesn't matter. So here we're going to buy Swan, certainly, and then we don't really have 3 gold to spend on something that really that matters. We could obviously effectively get an apple for our mosquito, but we're not likely to take the mosquito all the way. Again, it's like some of it is intuition, some of it is your intuition. Your intuition is sort of trying to simulate what you think the math looks like, right? And you're also trying to have fun. Somehow, I'm able to do both and win a lot, and I'm sure you are too, especially if you see some of the tips that you find in this video. But in this case, I do a rare cupcake grab just because I wanted to spend my last 3 gold for value, and that was the best value that I saw. I wanted to go ahead and win this round. Although I'm not sure if I do win this round. Let's see. I think I do remember winning it because look, they put their melon armor on a unit with low attack. In the early game, you probably want to put your melon armor on the unit with the highest attack, like this beetle. Of course, they would have to imagine like, oh, the beetle's going to be a little bit stronger because of what he's going to eat, or because somebody ate something. But it's not too hard to figure out, and you definitely don't want to put it on a 2 HP, or rather a 2 damage bat, because you're only getting to hit twice with that 2 damage when you'd much rather hit twice with like 7 damage. The mosquito has worn out his welcome because, you know, we're thankful for him. He hasn't worn out his welcome, but he's sort of outlived his usefulness, is a little bit more accurate, because he's already level 2, and he doesn't have any too crazy effects. Now, there's always the argument that it's not worth it strictly to pill the ant when you could get 2 gold from selling it, but I think it's pretty valuable. especially when you have units that you're likely to keep around. Sometimes I'd much rather do that than to just sell the ant or to keep them around. So here we're going to get rabbit just in case we buy some food. But instead of seeing such a good food buff or something like garlic armor, we do see another puppy. And here's an important lesson. You don't have to combine the puppies if you don't want to, right? You obviously could, and that's going to facilitate one puppy scaling faster, but you could leave them separate on their own, and then you have 2 scalers off the jump. Then you might think, look, let's freeze the caterpillar perhaps so we could have another attacker. The ladybug is probably only going to stick around to level something up, and it may not even stick around that long. If it weren't for the puppies, I would have sold the ladybug this turn and bought the caterpillar. Kept the rabbit around just to feed something, rather to feed some animals. And we're going to keep, really importantly, I guess I did want the level up passive to see what tier 4 I got. I suppose there's some good ones. We're not looking for Poodle this run though because we're running 2 puppies. And especially if we run like Turtle, which we'd like to most times, that's also a tier 3. So we don't want 3 tier 3s in a Poodle. That's not getting too much value. So we do get taken out by a really good combination of having both a hatchling chick and a unit with garlic armor on it. That's a pretty strong strategy in the early game. That does overcome us. Not the biggest deal. Let's see what we get for tier 4. Squirrel, which is pretty bad. In hindsight, we only did spend 1 gold on looking for that at that tier 4, but I don't know how many tier 4s I would have been like, oh yeah, these fit on the squad. It's hard to say. Maybe Poodle would have been fine, and we would have just reorganized our squad a little bit. But hindsight is 2020, and the squirrel is not that impactful, like 10 times out of 10. So we're going to put our hatchling chick behind, and I like this thematically, so check it out. It's actually kind of cool. Did you ever think about why the hatchling chick buffs the guy in front of it? Because it's a fragile chick, and it's going to inspire the animal in front of it to protect the vulnerable young chick behind it. If you've got a vulnerable young chick behind you, you're going to be inspired to be stronger. So I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool. And it does show that it's inspiration because it's just for the turn. It's not permanent. It makes a lot of sense. So now we're looking at our squad. The puppy and the swan are interchangeable as far as who's receiving the 5/5 buff from the hatchling chick, because the puppy at the end of this turn, if I save 2 gold, which I will, is going to be a 9/9 as well, right? So we're finally starting to scale past the swan, at least with our 1 puppy. We have an owl here, which we'd like to use, but we're sort of slot locked. Hatchling chick is obviously somewhat switchable, right? We could switch the hatchling chick out, but 9 times out of 10 I don't want to because it's so good. We do get an early tier unit from combining another one. We get permanent buffs from combining another one. We get great buffs from keeping him as he is. And here I'm talking about which puppy is more likely to get the additional puppy. I don't want to combine them because they both have such good value on their own. Although the really accelerated scaling from a level 2 puppy is big. So I'm thinking, which one do I scale? On one hand, I could scale the one with garlic armor, and I don't have to think about it because I do find 2. So I'm like, oh, great. I get to level 1 up right away. And actually, I do still have to think about it because it's like, would I rather have the one with the garlic armor scale really fast? Or would I rather have him just do fine and scale the other one really fast, knowing that in all likelihood we're going to put melon armor on him? What I could do is, because garlic armor does fall off, what I could do is put it on the one with the higher stats by 1 and just replace the melon armor, or the garlic armor with the melon armor on him anyway. But I think that the play that makes the most sense usually is to, in this case, since it's so close, level up the other one. However, I changed my mind as far as the short term goes because I want to win these matches now. And in order to do that, the best way is to have a stronger garlic armor unit, especially because I'm not even guaranteed to find turtle. So here, of course, we sell the swan to get the cow because that's so big. And I do want to start using the rhino. I do think, like, man, it would be wonderful to use the rhino. I think it's an incredible unit. I don't see how he's going to scale super fast. Obviously, we could find ways. But this match, we have something really good going for us in the double puppy scaling with the caterpillar already. So, of course, I'm going to double milk our guy ahead. We're going to freeze the caterpillar, keeping 2 gold for the puppy. And this frozen caterpillar is going to accelerate the, basically the speed with which we get another 24/24, which is a big deal. We have a nice, beautiful, continuous ice background, which I respect. And we're going to be matched up against Puffin Kicker. Unfortunately, they kick Puffins. Not the happiest about that. They are the Shy Bikers. And we do overcome their Melon Armor team because they don't put it on the unit that's too strong. They think they're going to get value out of it on their Peacock, which in all likelihood should have probably been on their like something like their Big Fish, right? Because he has a lot of attack. We're going to go with the play here probably where we do Hatchling Chick so that we can get early tier 6, and we do get probably the best tier 6 there is. Maybe Dragon is better, but I don't know, probably not. And 9 times out of 10 it's going to be the T-Rex for me, I think. So we of course are going to get him. And we don't have money because of the T-Rex. We need to save 3 gold. We don't have money this turn to Caterpillar, so we're probably going to roll, which is just fine. So we roll. Come on. Yep. And none of that food impresses me too much. We are looking for chocolates at this stage because you get so much value out of getting a level 2 T-Rex. It's incredible. And we're going to save our 3 gold. None of this looks feasible to me. Of course, we're going to keep the Caterpillar because he'll level up 1 time next turn, and then we can, just for the price of 3 gold, have another really powerful unit. I don't mind that one bit. Now the Hatchling Chick is buffing our guy a little bit less because it's not a 5/5 buff, but they are permanent now, which is big. We do good here, and we actually trade with the Melon Armor Hatchling Chick, which is pretty funny, and then we take out their team. That was Dinkelberg. Sorry, Dinkelberg. Now we're going to go ahead and Caterpillar here, so we're going to probably put our level 3 Caterpillar in front of our inferior puppy. Not that he's inferior, like talking shit on him, but he is obviously inferior to the other puppy in terms of stats and armor and all that. Now I'm looking at, do I want to sushi? There is an argument for at least freezing it because we need to spend something this turn, and we only have 1 more turn of reroll and spending before we've got our 3 gold threshold where we need to remain in order to buff our puppies and allow our T-Rex to buff everybody, right? So we're looking at that now. We're pretty happy. We're scaling pretty well. Everybody's kind of in the position they need to be in, and we're going to go ahead and sushi. We do at least get an impactful buff on the... It's basically... It wasn't too different from getting just an apple on the second puppy, which is at least some value, but... Because the value on the Caterpillar in terms of stats is nothing, really. But we do actually potentially hit good numbers here from having a buff on the Chick because... And we do, in fact. It didn't matter in the scheme of things, but he did get value because he was able to take out a kind of anemic bat. So it's no, the T-Rex buffs are kind of amazing. It's no small thing to get any unit buffed, really. But obviously, a lot of times you just have a much better likelihood of success if you buff your strongest unit. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Hatchling Chick because for this turn, what we did there with pilling the Mammoth is going to be a lot better than what we would have gotten with the Hatchling Chick because he does buff our other puppy as well. And that's the main thing we're looking at, right? Here we'll Sauropod in case we find chocolates next turn or something that we really want. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, which is nice. It's basically will be 1 gold for our chocolate because we'll get the 1 gold from the Sauropod and then we'll sell the Sauropod, right? Which is big. So we'll roll 1 more time to get at that 3 gold threshold in order to freeze things that are good. And we do find the chocolate bar and a turtle. Turtle is massive. So we're definitely going to put that to good use. And if you're wondering where the turtle's going to go, is it going to go on the first puppy or the second puppy? Or where is it going to go? It's going to go on the Caterpillar. And that's because the Caterpillar can't get a normal buff regardless. And because he will transform and lose his buffs or debuffs, which is awesome. We'll pretty much take out their team with just our first puppy. And we are going to push through that guy with the Melon Armor because his stats are so low that it doesn't matter. Now, we're going to get rid of something for the turtle. Before we do that, we're going to put Chocolate Bar on what's probably going to be the most effective unit, which is the T-Rex. If we find another Chocolate Bar, he's going to be buffing people like crazy. There's only kind of going to be 2 more guys left for him to buff big picture, but that's okay. Because our main puppy is about to cap out. We're not going to give him the milks because we have 2 lives and he's going to reach 50-50 naturally in 2 turns. So it's whatever. I'm not too worried about expediting that. We're going to buff our second puppy because he needs help. He needs to be buffed as soon as possible because he needs to be our third 50-50 unit. We're going to put our turtle here and check out this order. To protect against scorpions, we're first going to put the turtle and then the Caterpillar. We do have some value as far as the buff goes on our garlic puppy. So this is optimal. If we had the garlic puppy in first, then the scorpion could take him out and that would suck. That would take out about 1/3 of our power. If we take the, if we put the basically putting the turtle first is value, right? Because he gets knocked out by something, who cares? If we put, yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. Here we're microbing. If we think we're going to get a lot of turtles and chocolate bars, we could kind of pivot and go like microbe strats, which would not be bad at all. But there's an argument to not freezing that. But it's merely one slot in the shop, and we're pretty much animal slot locked. The only thing we would like to see is turtles and T-Rexes, so it's not the worst thing to freeze one thing that could be good to pivot your strategy in a good way. And check this out. We take out this guy through his melon armor. Same with the other guy. This guy is going to spawn. The garlic armor is going to defend us pretty well. Not that it really mattered too much. If we didn't have it, I think we would have had precisely the same outcome. So this is the point in the game where the garlic armor is kind of falling off. But we have things pretty well organized. Now here, because I found natural melon armor and I want to use it, I'm very unlikely to go microbe strats because microbe is going to eliminate that value. Plus, I only have one more turn to win and I don't have a bunch of turtles. So if you don't have a bunch of turtle, you don't really want a bunch of microbe. And that's how I see it. Unless maybe you had no buffs at all, then you might want to run microbe just to get rid of their buffs. But if they had turtle, then you're screwing yourself. Here, I don't have anything better than to buy pizza because, and it does at least pair our other puppies, so that's value. Because I need to spend at 6 gold so that I can get some sort of value, unless I want to really greed and just freeze something and not spend anything, which is normally not what I want to do, especially when I'm just got one more win left to go. And now I'm going to make sure my team is properly organized. It is. And we're going to go right into battle. We have a 50-50 now, finally. We have another guy in the way. We have another 50-50 because of the turtle. But check this out. They run an excellent unit, which is underrated, a skunk. So they're going to take our 50-50 puppy down to a, big surprise, let's see, 50-16, which is maddening. So that means that the combined stats of our other puppy, which is inferior, is higher than our main puppy. So the butterfly takes those stats. But guess what? Even that is not enough to stop us through our melon armor and everything else. And we're going to take these guys out for the 10 wins. Let's go. We would have been able to level up even more, crush even harder teams. We were scaling like mad. We would have swapped out the T-Rex because everybody would have been scaled. We would have gotten some more value. But guys, if you enjoyed this one, watch some other Super Auto Pets videos. Leave a like, please, because it helps out a lot. Subscribe, stick around, and know this. I'm going to be bringing some other videos to this channel that are different than Super Auto Pets, different than video game content. However, I will likely continue. I will definitely continue to upload Super Auto Pets, so don't go anywhere. If you want to see Super Auto Pets, strategies, contents, other games, if you want to see other stuff, subscribe and stick around. You're welcome to voice your opinion in the comments and all that, and I'll see you next time.